everyone, it's me, Stephanie Nietzsche. Today I want to talk about connecting with your characters or connecting with your scene. I have heard from some writers that they are having difficulty, actually connecting and making what they are thinking about or trying to write seem real. So I have an exercise that I do, and I'd like to share it with you if this is one of your concerns, or if there are other ways that you uh, connect with your characters or in your scene and you're looking for something different. I would like you to try this exercise. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to, I think silence works best. Some people work with music. If you want to add music, be my guest, feel free. It could help with some scenes depending on what you're writing, but right now, just for the purpose of this video and the purpose of this exercise, I just want you to sit down and I want you to relax and I want you to, clear your mind and think about the scene that you are writing. And if you can't get into that scene itself, I want you to think about the story you are writing and the characters that are involved in this particular story. Now, as you do this, you may find yourself being directed to a scene and things may just start to naturally unfold from there. Now, if they don't, I want you to put yourself in the scene. And when I say yourself, I do not mean your physical being. I do not want you to picture yourself in the scene, but I want your presence to leave the room that you are in right now, and I want you to put your presence in that scene as if you are an observer. You are looking in from the outside, seeing everything that's going on, listening to what everyone is saying, and if no one is speaking, what they are doing, and perhaps they're standing still. Perhaps right now they are looking for direction from you. You are not going to give any characters in your mind any direction. You are not going to mentally put them in a place or in a condition or in a state by you. You are just going to let it unfold. So you're just going to sit in your chair for as long as you possibly can, and you're going to think about your characters, and you're going to think about the story, and you can think about the storyline, the plot, things that have happened in the story already. And then you're going to see and experience how the characters are just going to start to do things and move on their own. Maybe other characters are going to enter the scene. Maybe they're going to now have a conversation with each other. Maybe something is going to happen. Something serious is going to happen. And your characters are feeling a certain way. And you're just going to let all this play out in your mind. It's your imagination at work. It's your creativity at work. You're just going to let your imagination run wild with the story. And if there comes a time where your character is either doing something or saying something that they normally wouldn't do, I wouldn't pull back. I would just let it all happen organically, because you do not have to use it. But let your characters become, from fictional to non-fictional in your mind. Create this other world that to you is actually reality. There's another reality. This is your reality that you're in right now, watching or listening to this video. And then I want your other reality to be your fictional world where someplace else is taking place. Now, I want you to get to a point in the story where something clicks or connects or maybe, you know, something is going to happen, you know, in real life that is stopping you from going any further with your imagination right now. Maybe you have to go to work, maybe an alarm went off, maybe your cell phone rang, whatever it was that is taking you out of the scene or out of your story. I want you to immediately write about it. Write at that moment, write about how your characters were feeling. You could write it in story form, or you could just make notes about how your characters were feeling and how that made you feel at the time, because it is definitely going to help. And that is the exercise. So that is how I connect with my story and how I know how my characters are feeling and what is going to happen next. Because, you know, after a while, after I start a story, my characters, they just take over. And this is a good way for you to try to let your characters just take over. Now, some of you might be watching this and maybe saying, oh, my characters take over all the time. Okay, but that's you. That is not everyone, and that is not every writer's experience, I'm sure. And maybe a new writer is saying to themselves, wow, I read about how these writers say their characters just take over and the story begins to tell itself and it just plays out in their head like a play or like a movie. So this video is to share an exercise that hopefully can help them, or maybe even, you know, some of you who feel like you don't need this exercise, maybe if you just try it, you'll say to yourself, hey, you know what, that's a pretty good exercise. Or maybe you do this exercise already and you have something to add. So that's today's video, how to connect with your characters. And it's kind of like being there, you know, being there but not being there at the same time. All right, I hope that helps. I would love to read anything you have to say about this video or about your writing in the comments. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to try to answer them or try to find answers for you. And all questions are important. And if you have a question, you should definitely ask. And if I can help you in any way, I will. All right, everybody, it's me, Stephanie Nietzsche. I hope today's video helped, and I'll see you next week.